I'm Rick Hygas, SQL Server MVP and Solutions Architect for Scalability Experts. I've been working with SQL Server with Scalability Experts for more than 10 years.
Hi, I'm Larry Chestnut, Senior Architect at Scalability Experts. I've been involved in the SQL Server industry for well over 15 years. First 5.5 years was spent with Microsoft and the SQL Group. In the last 10.5 years now working with Scalability Experts.
Today we're here at Tegile Systems to talk about how the Zebi array can meet the challenges of the SQL Server ecosystem within an organization. And Larry, what are the top 3 challenges that you probably hit on a daily basis?
Well, the very top, of course, is I/O latency. Next is high degrees of throughput capacity. And then thirdly, what is critically important in organizations is to be able to stand up an environment very quickly and easily that can support offloading reporting, providing QA and dev testing groups with production copies of the databases. They're extremely large.
As many performance-oriented DBAs look at different counters, et cetera, one of the things they really look at when it comes to storage is latency. And this is a high-performance box, so what type of latencies do we usually see with this Zebi array?
Right. Well, to start, let's contrast that to what you might see in other mid-market products.
Okay.
And in that instance, you might see something in the realm of anywhere from 10 to 50 to 300 millisecond latencies. Now, what do you expect to see in a Zebi array? 1 to 10 milliseconds latencies for your throughput. So that makes a tremendous user experience difference for the consumers of the applications that are pounding against SQL Server itself. And it also imparts another possibility for the managers of IT departments, and that is in the context of when they're faced with acquisition of new compute hardware. And essentially, you have the capacity then, in large part, you don't need to have that many CPU cores. For instance, in our fast-track data warehouse, my experience was we got latencies between 1 and 10 milliseconds for a data warehouse workload.
That's fast.
And all we needed was a mid-level CPU with 8 cores each on 2 of those. So you have the capacity to, again, even reduce your costs of your licensing for all applications if they're licensed by socket or by core.
So with lower latency, then we're not waiting to do more work. We can actually do more work in less time,
Yes.
and therefore potentially we could also lower our overall core count depending on the situation.
Depending on the situation, there are some SQL Server workloads that are highly compute intensive. They might very well still need higher core counts. But depending on that's a unique workload also.
True.
Most people may not be faced with that, and that's wherein they can entertain the possibility of a lower core count CPUs.
It sounds like this solution might be very fast, but things go wrong, and so how resilient is the system, and will it last?
They encompass some of the features that you will see in your high-end, top-of-the-end storage arrays. So there's 2 controllers in every Zebi array, and everything's duplicated in terms of fiber channel, storage network connectivity, as well as network connectivity. And so in the event that a controller, the CPU, or one of the DIMM modules associate or with the one side of the controller is to fail, just like in Windows failover clustering or VMware's HA, that node will fail over to the remaining surviving node. And you'll still have access to all your data. You don't lose access to the data because some components within the Zebi array would be to fail. In the event of failure of something like the hard drives or the NAND flash, those are all hot swappable without missing a beat.
Okay, so it also sounds like SQL Server's had hot add CPU, hot add memory, and now we can have hot swappable storage when things go bad too.
Absolutely, yes, indeed. Just like virtually everything that's available to you in the highest end storage is available here in this product line.
Larry, one of the pain points that a lot of DBAs tell me about is their ability to provide a production-like environment for different teams. It could be the dev team or QA, whoever. So how can Zebi handle that?
Right. Well, the DBA's role in all this is to provide the backup of the database. But so typically the dev people, QA people are the ones putting the onus and the pressure on the manager to produce the dev environment. The DBA is just to feed that environment. Well, with the Zebi solution and the snapshot capacity that is available for the projects or at the LUN level, the time it would take a DBA to do a database backup, copy it somewhere else and restore it, could take hours depending upon the size of their database and the speed of their network. In the case of the Zebi solution, essentially it'll take less than a minute.
Wow.
In fact, the speed of your fingers going across the mouse is your only limiting factor. And you're not dealing with space anymore, you're not dealing with time anymore. And so for the manager's point of view, who oversees all these entities, DBAs, developers, and SAN admins, they have the capacity now, the manager does, to afford and provide a storage environment with the replicated data, the snapshotted cloned data, to any developer. Now all that's left for the developers to get themselves a SQL Server instance in a machine from which to access that storage. Well, is that going to cost me extra? Mm-hmm. Right? And so, yes, you can have a CD changer and player in your car. It'll cost a little bit more when you go to buy one, right? Or, yes, you can have electric windows, but they'll cost a little bit more. Or leather seats, yes, it'll cost you a little bit more. This is all encompassed in the operating system for the Zebi already.
Okay.
So there's no hidden costs. There's no, add this too.
Okay, so it's all part of the whole bundle that you buy when you buy the array.
Yes.
Now, another thing that I talk with DBAs quite a lot about is they want to maybe put tempDB or maybe their log files on a PCIe flash device to really guarantee low latency performance for that piece of SQL Server. So can I do that here with Zebi?
Yes, you certainly can. In doing that, what you are doing is saying, I'm going to sacrifice some performance for the whole for a specialized group of objects that you store in a particular given LUN. And yes, you can essentially create LUNs that are pure NAND flash storage and create a storage pool comprised of those, and you can create multiple LUNs to service multiple servers that have tempDB or where you want to put your most prized possessions of transaction log files, if that's an OLTP environment, or dedicated file groups into a pure flash pool. You can do that. Just bear in mind that you're taking something away from all the remaining databases that are not going to be located in that dedicated flash storage.
You know, after discussing all the stuff we've talked about today about the new Tegile Zebi array, it kind of struck me about something you said yesterday when we were discussing this as well. And I wrote down so I wouldn't forget, and that is, everybody lives with compromises, but what if you did not have to? And I think a lot of the things we talked about with the Zebi array kind of brings that to light. And just to have a little fun, I think we should do a top 10 list to bring out what we found really great about this product. So I'm going to start off with number 10, and that is it is multi-workload ready for virtualized and bare metal workloads, even with OLTP and DW workloads as well.
I'll do you one better. Number 9, multi-protocol, easy to connect to any storage network.
Number 8, great capacity out of a 2U system, and it can expand with additional shelves.
And number 7, Zebi is quick and easy to deploy and extensible through scripting.
Number 6, Zebi Snapshot Replication delivers a meaningful storage DR solution.
Do you one better. Number 5, application consistent snapshots provides quick and space-efficient sandboxes for dev, test, and offloading reporting.
Great. And number 4, deduplication and compression is great for SQL Server backups, and yes, you must still do your SQL Server backups. Snapshots is not a replacement for it.
Number 3, consistent throughput.
Number 2, low latency for databases, my favorite.
And number 1, all-flash performance at spinning media prices.
Wow, that's great. Now, before we leave today, I just want to thank you for joining me today here at Tegile Systems talk about this great new product and how it can really help out in all the scenarios we talked about.
Sure.
And also, if you would like more information, check out the web address on your screen. And on behalf of Larry Chestnut and myself, Rick Hygas, thank you for joining us today.